5 ways that you can save hundreds of hours producing firewood. Here we go. The number one thing that you can do to save time, hundreds of hours, is don't stack. When I went to doing the bin method, I saved hundreds of hours every year. I figured somewhere between 300 and 400 hours of stacking that I used to do for the 200 or so full cords that I produce. Stacking wood, yeah, it looks nice. It gives you exactly what you want as far as volume, you know what you've got. It's organized, it saves space, like I said, it looks great. Those are all good things, but it does take a lot of time. And if you're producing a small amount of wood or you got a small space, then stacking might be the way to go. But for me, with my volume, because right now I'm sitting on probably about 250 full cords of wood, stacking it is just a waste of time. My wood is drying better like this than it ever had in any of the stacks. So not stacking is the number one thing that has saved me a ton of time.
By throwing all my wood into bins with pallets on the ground and then pallets on the sides to hold them in, I can get in huge volumes of wood, and it dries fantastic because it is loose, air flows through it, sun hits it, it's off the ground, rain doesn't bother it, the sun can dry it, wind flows through it, it dries fantastic, and I save hundreds and hundreds of hours of handling wood, stacking it. Bins are the way to go. Wood dries better, saves hundreds of hours. Did I mention hundreds of hours? Yes.
Number two, buy logs. If you buy logs, you can be way more productive. It's no different than hiring any professional to do what they do best. Say you know nothing about plumbing, the best thing to do is to hire a plumber. If you know nothing about electrical work and you need work done, hire an electrician. If you're not a mechanic, like me, I'm not a mechanic, I hire a mechanic to do his job better than I can do it. It saves me time, actually. Yeah, it might cost a few dollars, but for what it would take me to learn how to do a lot of the things I don't know how to do and buy all the equipment, it would be expensive to buy all the stuff, and it would be a waste of time. Loggers cut trees in huge volume and bring it to you. I can get a truckload of wood brought into me for about $1,500. That truckload of wood is going to produce me 2 to 3 times as much in revenue versus me going out into the woods trying to find scrounge wood and cut it and find it. It's a good way to start to do that, to get tree service wood or to cut your own wood or to find wood, but this is the fastest and easiest way. Buy logs.
So here's the load of logs getting unloaded. I ordered 2 log loads, and for those 2 log loads there was about 14 cords in each load, so that was 28 cords of logs. And once it's processed into firewood, I will end up with about 24 full cords of firewood, and that's the pile you see there. And that pile of wood, the two loads, cost me about $3,000, and I will be able to sell that wood for over $8,000. So my profit is well over $5,000 on those 2 loads. And the time savings is huge. I spend about 1/3 as much time doing this as going out into the woods and hauling wood. Time savings, money making.
Number 3, get yourself a dump trailer. Nothing has made my life easier than getting a dump trailer. I used to hand load everything into either my truck or into a trailer and stack it so that I could save space. And it was just a little utility trailer. And I used it for a couple of years, and to get enough wood in there, I could get 2 face cords or 2/3 of a cord in that little bitty utility trailer that wasn't even mine. I borrowed it from a friend of mine. And I used it for 2 years, and I got to the point where, like, man, I got to get a dump trailer. So I was starting to make money that I could reinvest into the business. When I bought my first trailer, trusty rusty back, that would have been like 7, 8, 9 years ago. It saved a ton of time. Changed my life. It made it so much easier. It was a bigger space that I could put the wood into, so I no longer needed to stack it in there into the trailer. I could throw a full cord in loose, and I knew what it had as far as volume, where it needed to be, and I didn't have to stack it to know how much I had in there anymore. I could just throw a whole cord in, take it and deliver it, or a face cord, or 2/3, or I could do up to 4 face cords. The trailer I have now I have this one here. This is my bigger one. This is the 6x12. It is an N&N galvanized trailer I got from Thumb Trailers. You can see the cover there. And awesome dump trailer. I also have the little dumper, which you guys have probably seen. And then we also have Adam's trailer here, that it's a steel trailer, and that's a bigger one yet that we can use. And then the farm here has a dump trailer. So there's actually 4 dump trailers that we have to use. And the ones I use all the time for deliveries, obviously, is going to be the ones that are mine. This 12 by 16 galvanized, it's a 7,000 pound capacity. It's like 7,500, I think, because the trailer itself weighs 24. It's a 24, 25, and it is a 10,000 pound capacity trailer. So when I fill it full, I'm probably, Greenwood, I can get close to the capacity, but it works awesome. And that's the limit of my truck too. So it's perfect size for my truck, for a half-ton truck. If I had a 3/4 ton truck, then I could have a bigger trailer, and maybe someday I will. The other little bitty trailer that I have, we can fit 2 face cords or 2/3 of a cord in, and it works great also. And then we've got the big steel trailer of Adams, and that I usually don't use for hauling any wood. Basically, we use that when we're running the processor, so the wood can go directly into the processor, and then we can take it out and do resplits or put it right into the bins. Dump trailer saves a ton of time. My brother Kenny bought Tony's old dump trailer. He had a SureTrack, I believe, and that is a bigger one. And my brother does have a 3/4 ton, so his dump trailer has made him a ton of money, saved him a ton of time, because now he's able to go get wood at a couple different places where he never would have been able to do it with just a truck or a small trailer. He had to hand load and hand unload everything piece by piece, whereas now they can dump it in with a machine, dump the wood in just like we can use this when we go on jobs when we're doing tree service. We can put it in with the tractor with the grapple, just drop it in, bring it back, dump it. Saves so much time, and we can actually produce way more wood with a dump trailer, and it'll save your body. Dump trailer. I'll show you some stuff of what we've done with it. Number 4, get yourself a faster wood splitter. Obviously, not everybody's going to have a wood processor, but I do now. That didn't come to me all by itself, just showed up one day, or I decided to buy it. I just bought a box store splitter, like a 22 ton, like $1,000 splitter. Used it for a couple of years, basically wore it out. Sold that, bought another splitter a little bit bigger, not really any faster. They both were glaciers, which means they move very slow. And I basically wore that one out, sold it. And then I upgraded and I bought an Easton-made Ultra, which you guys are going to see here in some videos. And after I had that for, I don't know, maybe a year or so, and when I was doing videos, Andrew Easton called me up and said, "Hey, are you interested in a wood processor?" And I said, "Well, yeah, someday." He said, "No, I want to send you one." And I said, "Really?" He says, "Absolutely." And I said, "Well, what's the catch? What do you want me to do?" He says, "Just make videos." So I have the privilege of being able to use this as much as I want, and because my business isn't super huge, I don't use it as much as I would like to. If I was to run this every day, I would need a semi-load of wood every day or every other day just to keep this thing running all the time. But until I get out of my photography business, I'm probably not going to grow my wood business that much more, because I don't have as much time to put into it as I would like to put into it. But someday it could happen. So when I got my Easton-made Ultra, I went from like a 16 or 17 second cycle time, and that's how long the ram takes to go forward and then back. My Easton-made Ultra, 4 seconds. It changed everything. I used to go and split wood for hours, days, weeks, just steady splitting. And I would stay at my old wood yard for a lot of times. I'd start splitting in the afternoon, say 3, 4 o'clock at the end of my workday. And I would split wood until 8, 9 o'clock at night. I used to set up lights and everything. And, I was only producing about a face cord or a third of a cord an hour by myself with my old splitters. When I got the Ultra, by myself, if I have decent wood and I can get right next to the wood, so I'm not having to carry it or move it, I can produce a full cord. So 3 times as much. 3 times as much. Yes. A lot of wood, a lot faster. That saved me a ton of time. And when I first got the Ultra, the first, like maybe a week or so, I kind of got used to it. And then I was splitting wood. And one day I came home, it was only like 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, which for a lot of you guys, I guess, is late, but to me it wasn't. My wife says, "Why are you home already? I thought you were going to split wood." I said, "I did. I got it all done." She says, "Well, how did you get it all done?" I said, "The new splitter, the Ultra that we bought, I was able to produce so much more wood, so much faster, so much easier. It changed everything. So that's another real big game changer. And then obviously this thing here, the 22 MB, with this we can produce pretty easily. We could do two full cords an hour, maybe 3 if we really pushed it and we had good wood. And that's cut, split in the trailer and then dumped. So we can produce wood pretty dang fast with this thing here. And some people will give you, the estimates on what their processor will process in an hour. I've seen enough of them to know that an average processor is going to do a couple cords an hour. A really good one will do about 3, and a fantastic, really fast, big, powerful one with perfect wood maybe can do 4. I don't think so though, because you got to have some place for the wood to go. But it would be no problem to do a full semi-load in a day with this thing if I wanted to. So speed is nice. Number 5, get rid of your weenie saw. Get a real saw. Get a saw that can actually produce wood fast. When I was first cutting wood, I had a 455 Rancher, so that's a 50cc saw, and it did okay for cutting wood for myself, for in the fireplace or a fire pit out back. And I was only going through maybe somewhere in the range of 2 to 3 full cords a year, so 6 to 9 face cords or so, which was about an average year for me. Sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. And that's all I really needed for a saw. So if that's all you're doing, you can get by with a small saw. But if you're going to actually make wood to produce heat for your own home or for your shop, or if you're going to start trying to sell some wood, or if you just have friends you want to give wood to, or you enjoy cutting, get a real saw. Get rid of the weenie saw. My brother Ken years ago told me when I had my little 455 Rancher, he said, "Why do you got that little weenie saw? I told you get a real saw." And he meant for me to get a professional saw, and he was absolutely right. He runs a lot of the 372 saws and he loves them. He's also got the 395 and the 390, and he's got a bunch of different saws, but this is more what he meant. And when I went from my 455 Rancher, the next saw I bought after that was a 576. When they came out, I had 2 of those and I used them a lot. And after those were basically used up, I still have one that runs and one I sold. I bought the 572s. I have 2 of those. I had 3. And then after that, then I bought the big boy here, the 592, which is a 90cc saw. And now I also have 2 3120s, which is 120cc saw. So big saws. But if you want to cut production, you want a pro saw. You want a big saw. And you're better off buying a bigger pro saw, in my opinion, because they run better, they're built better, they last longer, they're going to hold their value better. It's just a better thing to get. Most of the consumer saws, in my opinion, are disposable. Get a real saw, get a pro saw. Whether you buy Echo, Stihl, or Husqvarna, get the pro saws and get a bigger one. And in my opinion, when people say, well, how big should I get? As big as you can handle, is my opinion. The best all-around size saw is going to be anything from between a 60cc saw up to a 90cc saw. But if you're only going to buy one, 70cc size saw is probably about the best. So that would be 572 Husqvarna, or in an Echo it would be 7310, or in a Stihl chainsaw it would be a 462. Something in that size is what I would recommend for almost everybody to get. Now, I don't think that should be your first saw. Your first saw should be a weenie saw, a little bitty one that you'll learn how to cut with. And then once you get good at that, step up to the bigger saw. When you get a bigger saw, and you will be mad at yourself for not getting one sooner. I can cut 2 times, maybe even 3 times as much wood with a saw this size than I can a little 50cc saw. It's so much faster. It's just incredible how much more wood you can produce and how much easier you can cut. Yeah, it's a little heavier, but you're going to produce a lot more. So get a pro saw, get a bigger one. You will save a ton of time. You'll make more wood. Do it.
I've got a bonus, number 6. This is what you also want. Friends. Bert and Adam, Keith, Gavin, Mike. They all help out so much. I've got a lot of other friends too. Even Tony counts, I guess, even though he's an old best friend. But if you can have a group of people to help you out like this, doing stuff, extra hands are so nice. I've been very lucky to have good friends, good brothers, kind of like winning the lottery. They help me out a lot. We get to do a lot of stuff together. We have a lot of fun. They enjoy it. I enjoy it. And it's been a real big benefit. That's all I got for today, folks. Come on back tomorrow. See you at 5:30 a.m. Good night, everyone.